All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto
Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash.
Okay, double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone who teach and rule well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful like Akim, teaching and preaching His truth, all right, throughout the four ends of the world. All right, Shalom to the elect of Israel. Israel is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. Biblically, your nationality goes back to Israel, God's chosen people. Okay? This is a Men of LA Las Vegas camp back with another lesson today. You know, I'm the brother Karatazai.
I'm Aya Shatab.
All right, and Lord willing, this be edifying through the Spirit. All right, this one's going to be called, get off your high horse. All right? Because Yahweh Shai had humility. All right? And we are supposed to follow the footsteps that Yahweh Shai had laid out. He was the greatest example of how to live perfectly. All right, that we have. All right, and you know, as the scriptures say, that's how we're gonna be redeemed through repentance and through His sacrifice. All right, so it's vital. All right, in these latter times that we live, to the best of our ability, in the footsteps that Yahweh Shai put forth. All right. Now, you have other teachers and other examples that Yahweh Shai put forth, that show opposite, or that oppose the Most High, but also oppose His teachings. All right, and how when you read the Gospels, it's not always about what is being said, but how Yahweh Shai reacted to certain situations. That's how to live and apply the word to your daily lives. That's something that we all need to try to gain perfection in. So once again, the title of this lesson is "Get Off Your High Horse." All right, and it's about being humble in this thing, because humility is what's going to lead us to the kingdom. All right, you got it.
All right, this is the book of Zechariah. It'll be chapter 9 and verse 9, and it reads, "Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, the King cometh unto thee. He is just and have salvation, lowly and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt that fall the foal of an ass."
Right, so it was prophesied here in the Old Testament, because Yahweh Shai would, "Lo, I come in the volume of the book." All right, he's prophesied in the Old and the New Testament, and from Genesis to Revelations, okay, to the book of Revelation. So and Yahweh Shai being the Word, okay, He was going to fulfill that prophecy. His Spirit is prophecy itself. Okay, but it said that He was becoming lowly. All right, that was one of the main characteristics that was given in that verse. Lowly and riding on an ass. Now the fulfillment of that was, in the book of Matthew. It was fulfilled. The fulfillment of that prophecy was in the Gospels. All right, we're gonna get that. All right, but it said that He would come lowly. All right, meaning He's not gonna be in the flyest attire. All right, He's not gonna be in glory. All right, Yahweh Shai, is saving that for later. But this is, He said this your salvation coming.
Right, He came as a servant. Right, and what servant comes in the glory? All right, to be an example. Mm-hmm. All right, a servant is to be humble and to show respect.
Right.
Okay. Slakia.
12 and 16.
John 12 and 16.
Yeah.
All right, this is the book of John, chapter 12 and verse 16. Slakia. 12 and 16, and it reads, "These things understood not the disciples at the first, but when Yahushua was glorified, then remembered they that these things were written of him, and that they had done these things unto him.
Right, and when you read John 12 and 15, it states that, exactly what was stated in Zechariah 9:9. So at the time, all right, the disciples of Yahushua didn't really understand why he sent them out to go get that ass, all right, to go get that donkey, all right, for him to ride up upon. But what Yahushua was doing was fulfilling the prophecy, all right, just as he had to do when he took up that himself as a sacrifice, all right, and pretty much allowed those Roman soldiers to come in and take him in and crucify him,
right?
Because he had the power then to stop. He when they were rounding him up, he said, "I am he," and pushed him back with the power of his voice, right? So he said, if I wanted to,
my men, if this were my kingdom, my men would fight. Right. But if I wanted to, I could take this over right now.
Call the Elohim, the angels, all right, and in this place. He had that army of hosts on his will call, but knew to fulfill Yahweh's prophecy, hey, this is what needed to be done. Right? Because he came to deliver his people, right, Israelites, He couldn't deliver them if he just wanted to save himself.
Right.
That was the understanding that he had. Now, go to Luke 14 and 11.
Luke 14 and 11.
And this is going to be, part that gave that understanding to these disciples, man. Because when they was in the moment, they didn't understand everything. But you have to self-reflect, and as time progresses, more is revealed unto you.
Okay.
Right?
This is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 11, and it reads, "For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted." Right, because what did Bashim Yahushua say? He said that, the meek will inherit the earth. God. All right? That's in, the Lord's Prayer, before, right before the Lord's Prayer. God. All right? That it be that the meek are the ones who are in a low case.
Right. And who's in a low case? The Israelites are as in a whole, but even lower than the 2/3 of Israel is the 1/3. Right. Right? Because they're looked at as, bug outs to this world. All right.
In all cases.
Low lives.
Low lives, bug outs, women who don't necessarily possess the educational background,
right, or don't, aren't really with that modern women movement,
right,
that feminist movement. So here they took that low road, right, because it wasn't bearing with they spirit, But here it says that whoever is exalted, so whoever has a high stature in this, in this life, is going to be abased, which means brought low. Whoever is abased is going to be exalted. So Yahushua, presented himself with amongst the lowly, He came as that humble servant, one for an example, but two because he knew that this wasn't the place to shine.
God.
All right.
Because a lot of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, think that prosperity doctrine is it.
Right. All right. That you call on Jesus, you saved, and then here comes the riches.
God.
All right. Now it's easy to go out, pervert this gospel and make $1 out of it, but to teach the truth, it ain't as easy. We're entering that straight gate, that position of difficulty, right? That's something that you got to understand to fully be a part of this thing. Go to Philippians 2 and 5, and you're going to read down to 11. So now we're getting into the meat of this lesson. All right.
All right. This is the book of almost got me. Almost tricked me. Tricked me. You said 2 and 5?
Yeah, 2 and 5.
This is the book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 5, and it reads, "Let this mind be in you, which you also, which was also in Hamashiach, Yahushua Hamashiach."
All right, so as Yahushua lived, you need to live. All right, because this is as Paul was saying, let this be in you. But this is the mind of Yahushua. This is where he was, his thinking was to taking on, this life on head on.
Right. Okay. Verse 6, and it reads, who being in the form of the power, thought it not robbery to be equal with the power.
Right. That's why you have these great scriptures where Yahushua says, "It is not of me, but it's always of Father." He was always glorifying Yahweh before himself, even though he came in a glorious state. He always diverted that glory unto the Father, and that's something that we learn through our apostles, and teachers in this truth, that it's not them, that they never say, hey, when it says the water elder for the great lesson, hey, call all Yahweh Shem Shai, and that's solidified through other brothers that's like-minded in this thing.
God, he said there
you won't get another response. Great lesson, but hey, call all Yahweh Shem Shai. It's not of us.
God, and roughly paraphrase the scripture. What does it say?
This is not my doctrine, but
I come not to do my will, but the Father that sent me. The water. All right, verse 7, and it reads, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant.
Right, and he made himself with no reputation. Even with all the miracles that he was doing, he built up a reputation. But at the same time, he wasn't one to bask in all that glory. Let me take in the moment, that wasn't part of Yahushua's character.
This is all me.
It feels so good. Finally, we made it. They in that nigga, we made it, spirit. But can't read that from the top.
This is the book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 7, and it reads, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him from of a servant, and was made in likeness of man.
Right. So you say, he gonna go through everything that needed to be done. One, because he's that perfect example. All right. But denying, the lusts of this flesh. All right. Denying that he could be, he could easily take out whoever he wanted to take out. He could come, because it would have been nothing for Yahushua to go get,
back up,
plated with gold, decked out in all these
jewels
and everything,
stones,
the vanities of this world, right? It would have been nothing for him to do that, because he has all power was given unto him, right?
Yeah.
So he could, if that's what his desires were, he could have easily done that. All right, as it's when Peter, what did he go send Peter to do? When he said, "Render to Caesar what Caesar do," he said, "Go fish,
go get that,
go fish,
his money."
And then the fish that you pull out of the pond is gonna have some money in it.
Exactly.
Go give him that, right? So if he wanted, Yahushua could have made some gold.
Hey, did he not turn water into wine?
Appear out of nothing,
So.
He knew all the operations of the elements, right?
Right, as it says in Wisdom of Solomon.
Right. So he had all that knowledge and all the capability to it, but he needed to present himself in the lowliest form.
Okay.
Right.
Because it's you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, all right, and you speckled birds whose father's line goes back, you are in the lowliest form.
Right.
All right.
We're the worst the Israelite can get
Yep.
They going back into that movie we was watching last night.
Yep.
With
what is it?
Everything, Everywhere,
Yep,
All at Once.
Which was a great movie. Great movie.
It's off the wall.
If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out.
But pretty much to get to her purest form, she had to get to the worst possible version of herself. You know, it goes into multiverse and kind of plays on that, you know, like they do in Marvel. But to get to her best self, she had to be the worst possible self in that. And, you know, this lady, she you know, they showed her in the movie real quick. They showed her as, you know, having all the riches and everything, and then they also showed her, you know, just being a normal, you know, average Joe going through everyday problems.
Right.
You know, like we go on.
She had the fortune and fame. She had the lowly and humble.
Mm-hmm.
She had the middle class type deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? A little bit above.
But to get to that purest form, she had to really live through and figure out the root of all the problems. That's what we're doing in this lifetime. We're figuring out the root of everything. All right? The root of all the problems, because for us to get to this low, it pushed us to repent, to get so far gone that Yahweh Shem Yahshua put on the spirit of his elect to repent. And these men that are standing in this day, you know, are actually the leaders.
God.
You know, we're the first fruits. You know, Lord willing, we be those men, but we're the first fruits of the nation of Israel.
God.
You know, we're everybody's grandpappy.
Everybody.
You know, from that righteous seed line. You know, Lord's will.
God.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what it is. But here we're taking that low road. All right. You know, we're taking that low road to you know, and placing these riches up in heaven. You know, that's what we counting on. We banking on the Lord coming down and delivering us out of this hell pit. All right, this sewage sanctuary of Babylon the Great. You know, aka America.
That's a good one. Sewage sanctuary.
You got more on that. Read down to 11.
Okay. I believe I was at 7.
Yeah.
This is the book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 8, and it reads, "And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and become obedient unto death, even death of the cross."
Right. And hey, all that stress that was put on Yahushua, he was bleeding he was bleeding, he was sweating blood.
All
right, due to the stress. All right, I actually got you right here. I'll pull the next one out.
Okay.
You know, but that shows that was part of that sacrifice. All right, that Yahushua had made for us. You know, he had to become obedient unto death. What does that mean? He had to prepare himself. All right, because the scriptures even go into that example of when, you know, he asked Yahweh, "Is this necessary?" You know,
for me,
paraphrasing, is this necessary for me to go through? All right, and then he had to come to terms with that. But that's all hardships, you know. It's all the glory that, and that's why, you know, Yahushua is counted as worthy as the Lamb, you know, even amongst the Elohim.
God.
You know, worthy is the Lamb because he put that on the line when he didn't necessarily have to.
God. And then he even asked, like the brother said, hey, if it be your will, take this burden from me.
Right.
All right. And then, but at the end of all, he had to find what? He had to find faith. And in that faith, he had to find that acceptance.
Right.
You know? That, hey, his father didn't forsake him, but this is the bill that's due. You know?
That's the cost to be the boss.
Oh, God.
And Yahushua is the King of Kings. All right? The top, that's, you know, we was going into yesterday that how the brothers and the elders that we learn from, you know, in persecution, you know, more than likely they're going to get the blood as a person. And Lord's will, Yahweh Shem Yahshua keep that fervent spirit on them to endure all that.
God.
You know, and the fervent spirit on us, you know, first and foremost, you know. But hey, that's just part of that cost, man. I'm gonna get this in Ecclesiasticus. You want to queue up?
I still got
Yeah.
more on that.
Oh, you got more?
Yeah, I still got more.
You got 11.
At 9. You said read down to 11, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I got. I'm at 9.
Come on, go ahead.
Okay. Verse 9. Slakia. Book of Philippians, chapter 2, and verse 9, and it reads, "Wherefore the power also hath highly exalted him, and given him a name which is above every name, that at the name of Yahushai every knee shall bow, of things in heaven and things in earth and things under the earth, and that every tongue shall confess that Yahushai Hamashiach is Lord, to the glory of power of the Father, Yahweh."
Come. So, hey, it's still in that order.
God.
That's something that people get misconstrued on. All right, and hey, the greatest example we was talking about, you know, is Nate, which pretty much this lesson was built on that Passover bullshit. All right, y'all Passover bullshit.
God.
But I didn't want to, you know, focus on the negative side of it. You know, this lesson right here is more focused on following Yahushai and you know, following his example of humility. All right, so you have to remember the order of things. You know, Yahweh man, or Yahushai man. All right, women and children.
God.
All right, so that order is necessary for all things to be, you know,
Righteous.
fulfilled and righteousness, right? So that's pretty much, you know, where things, you know, get misconstrued, because they think that, oh, Yahushai, you know, was the same as, or is the same entity as Yahweh, when that's not true.
God.
All right, there's two separate entities, really three, which is the Spirit, you know, is this word, okay? Spirit is the word, right? And that's our comforter, all right? But they're all on the same accord, and that usually gets misconstrued due to, you know, these, you know, false teachings. Okay, but I'm gonna get this in here. This is if you want to queue up Proverbs 22 and 4.
Gotcha.
This is the book of Sirach 3 and 18. It says, "The greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord." Okay, so Yahushai is, you know, in that order, you know, respectively, you know, the next best thing to Yahweh.
Yep.
All right, he's that one mediator to Yahweh Shai, or to Yahweh. Okay, Yahushai is the one mediator to Yahweh. All right.
Because what does he say?
Through men, right? You got it.
Hey, what does he say? Through me, you know, through me comes salvation. Roughly paraphrasing scripture. There is no other way to salvation but through Yahushai.
That's right.
You can't see the Father. You can't even really partake of the Father's name without saying Yahushai.
Right.
All right, because Yahweh's not dealing with men. It's Yahushai who deals with men.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Like kiss the hand lest he be angry.
Kind of kiss the son.
Kiss the son.
Kind of.
Some mafia. But let me continue on that. It says, "Many are in high place and of renown, but mysteries are revealed unto the meek." Okay, and that really goes out to you theologians. All right, those that think you on a certain level because you attended this high paying scholarship, you know, program and put all this money in the bear. But what did the Yahweh Shai do? He revealed the secrets unto the prophets.
Oh.
And they have a better understanding of his word. All right, why? Because it's spiritual, and why? Because, you know, they're of the nation of Israel. God
revealeth his secret unto babes.
Right.
All right.
It says and so this thing isn't of the world, right? It says that in 1 John the second chapter. It says in Sirach 3 and 20, it says for the power of the Lord is great, and he is honored of the lowly, and that lowly going back into the elect these days. All right, the Israelites that are part of that Bayat Shadawadah, all right, the house of David, all right, in these times, all right, because they looked at it as the lowly, the scum of the earth, the brothers that ain't got no job, they just out there wasting their time on the highways and byways, all right, getting mocked at, scoffed at, and laughed at, right?
Right.
For their beliefs.
Counted them as fools.
Right.
Roughly paraphrasing scripture.
Yeah.
You know, this is what it takes for Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, you have to be in that lowly case. It's not, once again, as the lesson is titled. All right, get off your high horse.
Right.
All right, to be in a lowly state, because the servant is not greater than the master. All right, and if our master Yahweh Shai came in a lowly case, how much more should we come?
Right.
How much more should we try to grovel in front of our master?
Right. Should we be doing things that put us in the limelight, so to speak, or are we to be pretty much just outcast from the society, which we don't strive to be outcasts.
Okay.
But because we speak righteousness, all right, they see it as evil, all right, because it says in Amos, those that rebuketh at the gate, pretty much that they hate it,
You hate me because I tell you the truth.
Right. Because it's true thing for everybody, and that's how Yahweh Shai made it. All right, that's why they hated Yahweh Shai.
God.
That's why the Pharisees and Sadducees hated Yahweh Shai, because he was telling them about themselves. That's why Stephen was a martyr, because he told them what it really was and what it really meant. Y'all can't worship the Mother Mary no more.
God.
Right? You can't celebrate Mother's Day no more. Right? Because that's not of the Most High. That's of this Western philosophy.
God, you can't make your women out to be harlots anymore.
It's the Queen of Heaven spirit,
You can no longer. You have to detach yourself from this society. You can no longer live after the way of the world.
Right. You got John 14 and 6.
I thought you wanted Proverbs.
Oh yeah, you got Proverbs first.
Proverbs 22
Yeah.
and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Book of Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 4, and it reads, by humility and by humility and the fear of Yahweh are riches and honor and life.
Right. So that's the true riches. All right. What does it say in Revelation? That thou may seest that you are rich. All right. Rich with this knowledge, wisdom, and stability. All right. Because that's what's going to lead you to the kingdom. And really, what we see here ain't it. All right. The Lamborghinis, what was it? It was the B-52s.
Right.
All right. That ain't close to what a chariot feel like, So Esau's technology and Esau's perception of, making it, this American dream of making it, that ain't it.
It's American scheme.
Right.
Hey, here it is. You got a Lamborghini Ferrari when an oil change costs, $1,900, and it breaks down.
Right.
You only can drive it X amount of miles.
Right. Hey, there's no emissions in a chariot. No carbon emissions in a chariot. It ain't go faster.
Right.
What did it say that by humility, all right, that's one of the keys to the kingdom, right? Riches of the kingdom, humility and wisdom, man. Hey, the fear of the Lord is wisdom. Okay. Go to John 14:6.
John 14. Oh, I had Job.
It's going to be in Matthew 11 and 29.
Book of John, chapter 14. and 6, and it reads, and it's in red, so this is Yahushua speaking, but but because I have said these things unto you, sorrow hath filled your hearts.
That wasn't it.
You said John
Yep, St. John 14.
14, Slakia. I thought you said 15. All right, Salakia. This is the book of St. John, chapter 14 and 6. And it reads, Yahushua saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but through me.
So this is an example of why we must be following the same path as Yahushua. Alright? Being humble, okay, is what's going to lead to the kingdom. Alright? Why? Because pride goes before destruction. Alright? Being Yahushua is that path to salvation. You must follow him to enter the kingdom. Alright? You got Matthew?
Said Matthew
11. You know, so there ain't no way around it. You must be like Yahushua to enter the kingdom.
Matthew 11 and 9?
And 29.
29.
You're just going to read the end of that chapter.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 11, and verse 29, and it reads, Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your soul.
Right, so why we taking his yoke, that's bearing that same cross. All right, that affliction that Yahushua took, you know, you better have your mind right to carry that burden with you. All right? You know, but also following that example that he laid out for you. All right, so you can do what is necessary, you know, to complete your task, and whatever your lot is, you know. That's all being, you know, Christ-like, or, you know, like Yahushua.
Hey, it's all
walking in the footsteps of Yahushua.
Yep, and all being manifested.
Right.
All right. Hey, through the examples of Yahushua, you following the order that is given by Yahushua is helping forward prophecy. All right. And if you do it in truth and sincerity and honesty first and foremost, but even if you don't, you're still, guess what? Helping forward prophecy.
Right, because there's nothing you can do against the truth before the truth.
God.
So here it is. Yahushua has a perfect example of who you should be following, and somebody who, you know, is a perfect example of doing it wrong. All right, on all scales and all levels, you know.
Yep. Hey, I'm just read 30.
It's just if you have the eyesight to see it, and if you have the humility to say, you know what, even though this looks good in worldly eyes, hey, what does it really mean to the spirit? Is he really doing the right thing? All right, does having these extra amenities, you know, with being with this Israelite group, does that guarantee my salvation?
God.
You know, or does it put me further from it? You got it.
God. Verse 30, and it reads, For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light.
Right, and think about what Yahushua had to go through and to get where he at now. Or if he said that, and knowing that more than likely we ain't gonna have to suffer, you know, as bad as Yahushua. All right, he took the blunt.
God.
He took the heavy load of our salvation.
Hey, because once again, Salaki, the servant's not greater than the master, so there's no way, shape, or form that we could suffer as much as him.
Right.
We're only asked to carry the weight of our world,
Mm-hmm.
all right, not the weight of the world of the nation of Israel.
Right.
But then on the back end, having to deal with the other stuff that involves the world. All right, because he made all things.
But at the same time, you know, hey, what did Yahushua tell his disciples? You know, one day you'll do greater miracles than me.
God.
Well, those greater miracles is all going to stop when Yahushua comes back, right? So he going to perform one of the greatest miracles that anybody has ever seen.
God.
Okay, so it's still in moderation
God.
and still in order. You know, you can't put yourself above Yahweh Shem Yahushua and your actions, you know, and your actions throughout your daily life show, you know, where you think you is, you know. So you know, Lord willing, this has been edifying. I want to give all we want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash. All right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the elect.
Shalom.
Kwame Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.
Wa Ba Ba.
Shalom.
Shalom.